Evening.
Good evening, Tom. Good evening, all.
Happy Friday.
Yeah, happy Friday to you.
Yeah, well, I'm here. In body, not in mind. Wow, what a day. What a week.
Do you want to explain? Or
No, you're fine. How's you anyway? Everything all right?
Yeah, I'm good. Tank is the tanks are on the up. Put my first coral in here for quite a while, so I put an alveopora in there. I know your water changes are quite dramatic. This is what I do for water change nowadays. So 2 litres a day.
Please don't.
For 5 days, and then I do a 10-litre water change, which is 5 of these in a bucket, just so I can get this. I've still got some crap in the tank, you know, algae, all that kind of stuff. But I made a decision, little and often, take it out, and it's looking good. So yeah, I feel for you when you got to do your 400 litre, because this was a 2 litre. 5 days a week, 10% water change. I don't envy you with that tank anymore. I must admit, I'm really chilled with.
Yeah, you can have it if you want. It's free. Take it, please.
Yeah, Jill.
Oh my day.
Jill would have me in the car tonight, going to get that because she hates this, as you know. But for me,
flat pack. Oh, you know when you this phrase biting off too much than you can chew. Well, that's exactly what I've done with this barbecue. Wow. Anyway, we are where we are. Such is life. Still alive. Well, barely. I'll sort my thumb out in a minute when Jay comes on. That's because I was rushing that, trying to chop fish food up. Because it comes, the slabs I'm buying at the minute, they're that thick. You just can't snap them. You can't snap them. So, like the TMC ones. So, yeah, I've just gone through my thumb with a serrated knife.
No,
right. I mean, I've got another 9 digits.
That's one of the reasons why I stopped buying the slabs, even though it was cheaper. When you're going to get a small tank and you're trying to break off a piece, you end up with a really small piece. You end up with a massive piece, and you think, and you end up having to put it into a pot, and that lasts you X number of days. So I've gone back to your tank's a lot bigger. I've gone back to the little cubes because it's just a damn sight easier than the big slabs. I get the idea of the slabs, but in practice, they're a nightmare, I think, anyway, as you found out.
So I've just found out. That's because I was rushing for the live stream. So yeah, I started taking 400 litres out at 6 o'clock. And I was like, which is 16 25 litre drums, obviously. Carol Vorderman's out there. So we had, to be fair, my Mrs. Carl's brilliant tag team. She was in front of the grate. We're going 1, and then after you get to about 8, you're like, is this 8 or is this 9? And I'm like, as long as it's under, we're all right because I've got enough salt water. It's just don't go over because I don't want to run out. That's the last thing I need right now. I'm to mix more water. Anyway, so yeah, but we're here. It's Friday. The sun is shining. A little bit too warm, I'm going to say. Grumpy Yorkshireman up here. Whatever it is.
I think it's about 30 degrees and it's about 28 degrees still here. But this tank is at 25.6.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, because I've said this before, we don't have any of the windows open or any of the doors, and it just traps the cool air in and keeps the hot air out. The tanks in the garage, they're at 26.5 degrees because obviously you've got the garage door and you've got the sun that's south facing. But even that at 26.5 degrees is pretty good given it's 30 degrees out. The temperature will start going up now because between now and midnight it tends to go up a bit, and then the temperature outside cools down. Then we open the windows and then we'll open it all up in the morning just to cool it all down. But the worst thing I think you can do is open your windows and doors because your house will then be the same temperature as outside and you're stuffed.
Well, unfortunately, I've got a builder that's been in and out all afternoon, even though he should have turned up this morning. Anyway, we'll not go there. Tradesmen, worse than water changers. Well, that's it. Anyway, sorry if I offend anybody that's tradesman, but your timekeeping is horrendous. You know those clocks that they have in, like, you get them in TK Maxx where it says like Tokyo, Milan, London, I don't know, Sydney. They need another one next to it says tradesman plus 3 hours. Anyway, that's my take on it. Right, before we go down that road, I don't want to go down that road because we're here, we're still breathing. It's Friday. Happy Friday, everybody. Let's say hello to everybody that's joined us this evening. Thanks for joining us on my channel. Thanks for the continued support. So, of course, it would be the one and only Tony in early. Evening, Tony. Thanks for joining us. We've got John. Evening, John boy. Hope you're well.
Hi.
Cottage Reef. Good evening, Reef. Has changed the plan, not travelling tonight, so I'll be joining. Oh, nice one, mate. Hope you're well. I hope it's not down to any of the disruptions. I know Jay's he's stuck into.
Yeah, he said he's going to be about, I think, 20 to 30 minutes late. Yeah. He's blaming it on the IT thing, but I'm not convinced. He's late anyway. I
reckon he did it one way, and he's trying to chance it on his way back, and they've caught him out.
I don't know if
he's run out of pocket money. So he's got one of those little, you remember the little holders around your neck with they used to keep the coins in the middle? He's got one of those around his neck, and he hasn't got enough money to get home. So he's had to go to the payphone and go REVERSE to get some money sent to him. Anyway.
Yeah, so I don't know if he's on a school trip today down to London or whether he just fancied a trip to London. I'm not too sure because we obviously didn't know he was going down to London until we saw the photos this morning. Yeah. So he's travelled back from London today, hasn't he? So who knows where he is or what time he'll turn up. But there we go.
Yeah, if he comes back more orange, then we know he's gone via the sunbed. But anyway, Techers, evening. Who else we got in the house? Haley, good evening to you.
Hi, Haley.
Stuart, evening, Stuart. Lee, evening, mate. I'll see you tomorrow afternoon.
Oh, of course, yeah.
UK 120, thanks for joining us. Rennie's Reef, happy Friday, mate. Dave, hope you're well.
Hi, Dave.
Evening, mate. Darren, thanks for the text message saying chop chop 5 minutes ago. Appreciate that. Reef 216, evening. Thanks for joining us. We've got Alex, evening sausage. See you tomorrow afternoon. Liam, evening, buddy. Thanks for joining. Again, see you tomorrow afternoon. Who else have we got? Oh, here we go. The one and only. How painful is that to see Tom? Paul's worst tips. Evening, mate. I won't be seeing you tomorrow because you're working, let down, but I know there's a reason behind it. So next time, we'll see you in August. And Tim, evening, buddy. Again, see you tomorrow afternoon. I hope I've got room for these people. Scott, evening.
Hi, Scott.
Bragging on the go. And I think we're there. Yeah, we're there. So thanks for joining us. Apologies for the disruption or the delay. But it was going to plan and then suddenly it didn't. So, such is life. We'll talk about that in a minute. So your tank's doing all right, you said? You put an Alveopora in?
Yeah, so I've got some surplus corals in the tank. I'm going to start moving some over here. So I thought I'd give it a go, but the coral's looking pretty good at the moment. Still got some algae. I've just decided to forget about dinos. Just carry on what I'm doing. So kind of put in things like phyto and the miracle mud and all that kind of stuff. And then I'll get the microscope out in about a month's time and see what's going on. But I think I've been too obsessive around the dinos as opposed to run the tank, get it in balance, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And go from there. So since I've started doing the water changes again and not doing big water changes, I'm doing it over a week. So like about 20, 25 litres a week. It's improved. I've put some cleanup crew in as well. So that's helped as well. Yeah, so that tank is on the up. I put a video out today on the 170, the floating aquascape. So that's looking really good. So really happy with that. And then the DD900, I'm going to close down. But I've said that before. Right. When I had the big tank here, it took about 6 months to close down. So the plan is to close the DD tank down by the end of the year. I can't balance running 3 tanks anymore. I haven't got the enthusiasm to run 3 tanks either. So that'll close down. And yeah, so that's really, so yeah, pretty pleased. And got me mojo back as well in the last week. So
Good.
yeah, so that's pretty good.
Good.
So, what about you?
What about me? So big water change today because the phosphates get a bit out of hand. Mainly because I took too many of the bio balls out in one go out of the sump. So the zeolites haven't been doing what they should have been doing. So me on fault. Such is life. We all make mistakes. And so yeah. Trying not to I'm certainly not putting any GFO in, but yeah, I'm just doing the weekly water change. I've found that by having doing the weekly water change and having the pH a bit elevated, it gives me a little bit of so what I'm looking for. A little bit more margin of error to get away with things. Not lost anything, touch wood, but yeah, phosphate crept up. Silly eye. But anyway.
Yeah, so what proportion of bio balls did you take out? Was it quite a lot? I imagine it was a lot because of the size of the tank, but as a proportion.
Well, I've got about I'd say 25 kg of live rock in the sump that's been in there for at least 6-7 months because I was having issues in the early days, so put that in. That helps. Yeah. But yeah, the bio balls have been in ever since. And yeah, it's it was talking to Darren. Sorry, people are texting me. I was talking to Doug Dorrit, and he was saying removing the ceramic bio balls, they can be a bit of a bugger for absorbing some of the metals, some of the good metals that you want. So I started looking into it, and he was right. So I started taking him out, and I probably took too many out. But anyway, like I say, we all make mistakes. So yeah, phosphates have gone up, but doing the weekly water change, 400 litres today, so about 30% water change, which I know is a big old hike, but not supplementing that with any media because I don't want to go too much and rip too much out too soon. Just monitor it. Like we always say, just, you know, look at your tank. Tank looks well. Corals are happy, polyp extension out. So just be patient. And I know it's SPS and, you know, it might take 2 weeks to see the signs, etc., but the signs are good so far, so I'm not too worried. So
yeah. So what, you're going to carry on looking at water changes because unless you reduce your,
I'm using water change. Yeah, I'm using water changes as prevention, not cure.
Yeah,
basically.
So how do you plan to cure it? Because your bio load's not going to change, is it? Because the fish.
I'll just have to reset the zeolites. So I'll just have to feed heavy with the zeo food and the zeo back and.
Okay, like that.
Yeah, I'll just have to reset it. Yeah. I mean, I'm not right impressed with I've been going really fauna with the salt, and the salt's great, but I'm not right impressed with the zeolites because they really are really small. The surface area is nowhere near as good as the KZ ones, so I think I'm going to go back to those. But,
I was going to say, why don't you go back? Yeah, because what you want really, certainly the size of tank you've got, is tons of surface area, don't you? Because that's the whole point.
Yeah. So
you can pick some of those up fairly easily, can't you? The zeolites, or are they still
no, they're still kicking about. I was just trying to, you know me, I'm just trying to stick to one brand. I'm trying not to overcomplicate it, you know, so I get the ICP with the fauna. I use the minor trace elements. They say supplements. So they say, you know, dose this, that, and the other. And I'm trying to get it in sync. And by doing the weekly water changes, I'm trying to create a routine. And as I always say, understand your tank's personality. I'm trying to get it to a point where I know that every week I need to dose, you know, at the minute until everything starts thriving and growing, I need to dose, you know, X amount of this, and this, because I'm lacking it if I'm doing the water change. There's no calcium reactor. There's no 2-part, 3-part on it. There's nothing at the minute other than a water change. And my alkalinity is holding, so I've not got an issue. Obviously, I'm running Calquatter as well, so that'll be added to that.
Yeah. But does it matter if you change the zeolite to another brand, or is it just in your mind that you want to stick to one brand? Because if that one hasn't got the surface area, then should you be changing it?
No, exactly. I changed to it because I was trying to stick to one brand, but what I'm saying, the repercussions of moving it to there haven't been great. So what I'm saying is I'm going to go back to my original setup, and I'm going to have to restart the tank, reset the tank. Because I do try and run it 100 to 1 like we all would we would all, dream of or ideally get, which for me is about 0.04, 0.05 to 4 or 5 nitrate, and that's what I've been doing that, and like an absolute tit, excuse my language. I went, oh yeah, let's take all these bio balls out because they're absorbing all these metals that we want, and yeah. Anyway,
it just shows you though that the bio balls, they take a while to kick in, but they are effective. But it's like anything, isn't it? It's whether it be a skimmer or whatever it is, it won't just take out the bad stuff. It will take out some of the good stuff, like a UV will as well, because it doesn't discriminate, does it? It says, right, I'll just take all that out and I'll put it out, and you either got to substitute it or change your method. Yeah.
Well, I put the bio balls in the frag tank in the garage. Yeah. Bear in mind, there's no fish in there, and there hasn't been for 2 months now. And I've got there's two SPS mini colonies in the sun under an little Orphec blue bar, and that I got off Andy at Radical ages ago, and they're alive. Polyps are out. So something, I've not even tested the water. So something the point I'm making is the bacteria load on those bioballs must be seriously beneficial. So yeah.
Because it's a substitute, isn't it, for live rock, really, in terms of the surface area and everything else that goes with it. I remember Ross, when he set up the little nano, he put too many bioballs in, and he didn't have an issue for the first few months because they didn't seed and it's a dead tank and stuff like that. But of course, once they start kicking in and the bacteria start to work, his nitrates went through the floor and he had to pull out a lot. Because I can't remember how much. What bioball? There's a question here. Someone's asked, what bioballs were you using?
Oh, good question. The sphere ones, the
Max Spec, the round ones.
Not the Max Spec ones. No,
that's the ones I
can't remember what they're called. I put them in when I first started cycling the tank, which is getting up to we're 12 months. 10 months we are this weekend.
Wow, that's gone quick.
10 months. 10 months. Yeah, a year. It was Kaz's birthday, middle of September. So yeah, a year in middle of September. So yeah, we're getting up to 10 months time. Yeah, they went in. Yeah, they went in because I didn't want them to carry anything from any other system, so they came in, and yeah, it's not had any issues. So until I took them out and put them in the garage.
Yeah. No, absolutely. So 400 litres a week. So that's a big job for you to do every week to keep it in balance, isn't it? Yeah,
just a bit. But I don't always want to be doing 400. Obviously, I want to be getting it down to, my ideal is about 280, 300 if I can. So 400 was literally because the phosphates were so high. So
yeah,
here he is.
Evening, guys. Evening, YouTube. How are we?
How you doing?
Yeah, I've been down south. I've been to London.
Got back in one piece. Yeah.
I struggle when I go past Milton Keynes. I do, or even Leicester for that matter. Struggle. So sorry I'm late, but yeah, I've been in London for a school trip. Hey, went to the Natural History Museum though and looked at all like the marine. There's like a marine invertebrates display. It's pretty good, and there's loads of dead corals. So there you go.
Well, we've all seen loads of those.
Yeah. Well, apparently coral don't die. They haven't got a life expectancy, but they clearly have in the natural history, haven't they?
You would have thought so, yeah.
What did you get from the gift shop? Did you get a rubber pencil case?
Here we go. The kids got loads of different stuff, but I didn't. I didn't buy anything. I'm too tight to spend money down at mate. It's like £5 for a cup of tea and stuff. It's ridiculous.
Really? Wow.
£5? Where did you go?
The natural history was what, £4. There's £3.
There we go. We're going £5, £3, £3.
It's too overpriced. That's all I know. Too overpriced.
How come your lights out on your tank?
Mate, I've had to put the DD up because it was beeping. I was like, I can't have it beeping whilst I'm on YouTube.
Oh, temperature. Sorry, right, got you.
Yeah, right, so I've had the lights off all day, and it's still 27.3, so it's still pretty hot.
Of course, you're on the first floor.
Yeah, but yeah, it's hopefully it'll drop down. It should drop down now. Temperatures are going down here up north, aren't they? Tomorrow.
Sorry, evening, Carl. Sorry, saw you in the comments there. Evening, mate. Hope you're feeling better. I know you messaged in the local group. Hope you're well, mate. Hope you're on the mend.
Where's Rob?
Rob's. Oh, what did he say now? I can't remember what he said.
I enjoyed it.
Wasn't available. Not available. So I can't remember what it is. There's a reason. It's his missus' birthday, so he's gone out with his missus for a birthday. Happy birthday, Mrs.
Happy
Rob.
birthday.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
And hey, Paul's back as well.
I am.
He is.
Yeah, good to see you. Welcome back, mate.
We're not giving you a summary of what we've just been talking about for the last 20 minutes because you were late.
No, I don't expect that, mate.
I can't dig too hard, mate, because I was kind of late rushing around.
Have you been busy? Have you? Yeah. Sorry, mate. I was just
It's all right.
Got here as soon as I could. Didn't want to.
So was London? Did you enjoy London then?
Yeah, it's good. It's just busy, and I'm not used to busyness. I like the beach, or I like the countryside, and yeah, it's an amazing city, but it's intense. It's just a bit. I always take a bit of a sigh of relief when I'm on the train, not only because we've got the kids with us, like the sixth form.
Yeah.
42 kids. I had to look after the whole floor of 42 17-year-olds.
Wow.
Loads of roll calls during the day to make sure they're all there.
Plenty of registers. And why are you going across the corridor to that room? That's the boys' room, and you shouldn't be that area. Was
that you they were talking to?
It's just hard work. Obviously, there's the young enjoying themselves, enjoying life.
Well, you picked a sculpture to come down to London because central London's usually about 2 or 3 degrees hotter.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Bar.
Yeah, it was very hot. It was very hot, but yeah.
Well, thanks for joining us anyway. Thanks for making the effort, mate. I appreciate it.
No, I won't miss it, would I? Love it.
Are we going to talk about tonight's topic then?
Yeah, what is it? I haven't done my homework.
What is it?
I haven't done my homework. I had time.
Have you not got? Has Kate not passed you the script? No,
Kate's not prepared me what I'm supposed to say.
Okay. We're talking about reefing, the best bits and the worst, and I'm going to attempt to do a poll. So after 9 o'clock.
Oh wow! Oh my God, he's running away with this now, Paul.
I'm not running away with it. I'm not running away with it. Oh, I'm certainly not, Jay. Look at I'm going to sort my thumb out in a minute.
What the hell?
I was rushing around. I was rushing around to get on, and anyway, long story. You don't need to know. Anyway, it's still attached for now.
You've been bitten or something?
I know. I was cutting the fish food in the kitchen because these blocks I've got are ridiculously thick, dense, right, okay. a bit like me, clearly. And I went through top of my thumb with a serrated kitchen knife. It's all right. Still on. Still attached.
Ooh.
So, are we going to do best bits and then worst bits, or do you want to start? Or should we start with the bad and then end with the on the high? What do you want to do?
Mate, you call it. I have no preference. What do you, Paul?
We'll start with the good and then the bad, and then we'll summarise and hopefully try and not finish on a neg. So anyway,
yeah.
So go on then, over to you two. Best bits about reefing. What do you like about the whole bit?
Okay, I'll start then. I think
you start.
Once you tune your tanking and you start seeing the corals grow out, there's nothing better. And if you get a frag that's kind of a 1-inch frag, and then you can turn it into a colony, that is something to be proud of, because you can then sit. And sometimes that takes years to do, and you can sit there and think, you can't say you mastered, you think, yeah, I've done a really good job there, because you've been able to make that coral flourish. So to me, that's the best feeling, other than when we bred cardinals by mistake. That was probably the best feeling I've ever had in reefing, was the fish. But yeah, fish first, you can breed them even if it's accidentally, and definitely frag through to a colony. That I think to me was the best bits, amongst other things. That's my top 2.
Jay?
That was mine.
Stop copying. Come on.
that was the obvious. That was the one that I was going to go for. I just think. So one of my students asked me, like, "Have you still got your reef tank, sir? What kind of got you into it?" I thought that's a good question.
I call you sir.
Yeah, I've not even been knighted. I just get called sir. Yeah. Sir. I expect that from you now, Tom.
Right.
Likely.
I'll come to the barbecue and call me sir. No, I was going to say, so basically, I think just building the whole ecosystem from the bottom up. So obviously, you start with your rocky sand, and then all your little microbacteria, the stuff that you don't see, but you know is there, that's like critical to the reef. And then you've got your herbivores, like your cleanup crew and all that sort of stuff. And then you've got your fish that start to graze, and then you've got your carnivore fish and stuff like your little food chain, all within one little cube or tank, self-sustaining. You've basically created a closed system ecosystem. And I just think, you know what, that you've replicated nature, which is pretty impressive to do.
Okay.
Obviously a bit of science, but you've actually created a micro ecosystem from the bottom up, all the little creepy crawlies and all that sort of good stuff.
And especially if you can keep a tank,
predators.
If you can keep a tank for a sustained period of time. I mean, your nano, is it 4 years old now?
4 years, 4 years.
Yeah, I think to keep a tank that long and beyond, I think is a massive achievement.
Great achievement. Yeah.
How many people drop out? How many people close tanks down, reset, and everything else? But to keep it on point, and I know it drifts from time to time for that long, is a massive achievement because there's not that many people that do it. I know you see the pictures, and we mix with people that have been in the hobby for quite a while, but the vast majority, we talked about it, didn't we, about how many reefers go out of the hobby after 12 months to keep the same tank going for that number of years, I think is a superb achievement.
Yeah. I love the science of it. I love the science. And this the boy who asked me, he's a chemistry student, A-level chemistry student. And I don't know, I just said to him, like, there's so much chemistry in this hobby. You'll probably love it if you get into it. Because there's a lot of chemistry in it. And he's like, yeah. So he's obviously interested, but I just think creating a self-sustaining ecosystem, apart from the odd water change, is a fantastic achievement to be able to replicate, nature and stuff like that. So that was my first one. Yeah.
Reefing community. I have to agree with that, John. Good call.
I was going to say
the majority, not all.
So I was going to say, I don't know if this is just who I talk to, but I think a lot of people got into reefing as a distraction from other things in their busy lives or whatever else. Stress of a job, stress of maybe financial worries. Yeah, therapy, or maybe a health scare with somebody in the family or a bereavement or something like that, mental health. And they used it as a bit of an escape, thing.
Yeah.
And
I'd have to agree with that. Yeah.
Then found friends. So it took them away from that, momentarily took them away from an issue or thing that is on the mind. And then they found friends through it. And then we have great meetings because Paul sets up the shows and stuff. And
he does, the one and only.
All feel good factor, isn't it? And it's good. And then the shows, obviously, that goes to mind and it just goes full circle. I just think I hadn't
really thought about the community because I had someone reach out to me today that I haven't spoke for 2 years, said they've had problems with their tank, have I got any corals, blah blah blah, and I said I've helped them out, frag some stuff and things like that. So I think keeping in touch, I mean, we obviously keep in touch, and I think there is a good community on here, and just extends to that. But I speak to people that sometimes don't speak to anyone else about it, so it can be quite a lonely place. So I think try and get a community or people that you can rely on and speak to really helps as well, for sure.
I've not met anybody in this hobby yet that you think, I don't really particularly like that person. They all seem like, nice folk. Just, nice, honest, down to earth people who tend to find in the hobby who are happy to help you. I mean, obviously, maybe I'm getting onto the other one, but there's a lot of advice. Maybe that's getting on the other side. I think that is more of a negative than positive, more of a negative than positive. But there's a lot of people willing to help you or share stuff or give you corals, Tom, anything like
that. You're frozen on my screen. Are you there?
Oh yeah, I'm frozen on that.
Oh, yeah, he has to hear him, but he's either that or he's decided.
I need to take a screenshot of that.
Hey,
it's quite a good look actually.
This is perfect. I can actually go away now and do whatever else I want, and then just talk on the mic. Right. I know what's happened here. My camera's
Go on,
frozen.
what have you done?
I've frozen my camera, so I just need to change my camera over.
Oh dear. Tim's saying he loves the challenge when it comes, when it works. What you're doing with your, well, yeah, when it works. Sorry, what you're doing with your tank. You see the corals grow. After 30 years in, still more to learn as well. I think that's one of mine. There's always something to keep you entertained, keep you sort of, you know, chomping at the bit, learning more.
I think also the understanding of the hobby changes as well, doesn't it? If you think about what's happened, like, you know, nitrate should be low, or this should be low, or this, and then people learn a bit more about the science of it, and then the way we do things potentially changes on the back of what we understand more. Like ultra low nutrients, I keep saying it was always a thing, and now hardly anyone talks about ultra low nutrients. And you see people now saying they've got 30, 35 nitrates. If you had that 7 years ago, you would have got absolutely battered online for saying your nitrates were 30. But now
I remember going into one of my LFSs and they won't serve you SPS unless you've got like no phosphate.
Yeah.
It was like, you've got phosphate, get out. He's got phosphate, get out.
I've had that though. From Christian, I've asked like buy corals, and he's like, no, you're not having that one. He's like, no, it just won't. It won't be all right in your tank. So he's trying to save me money. He's advising me the right way. You could make money and just say, right here, I'll take it or buy it.
Yeah.
Liam's saying we buy a reef tank to relax and enjoy, and then it turns out it's one of the most stressful hobbies out there. Well, unfortunately, mate, you pulled a bad straw on that one, didn't you? But you're getting it sorted, and I'm sure you're about to turn a big corner, mate, and it'll all be rosy for you in the end. Because everything happens for a reason, as they say, karma and all that.
Yeah, you hit the 3-year mark. That's the one where it gets, as he probably knows, but yeah. So is it you that said that, Paul, about the 3-year mark? Like your tank peaks at 3 years. Like, didn't you say that about the Tim's thing?
3 to 4 years, I think it's at its peak.
Sweet spot.
And then after that, I think it's then the challenge of how do you keep it going at that level. Now, it must be something, whether there's a slow build up of stuff that we don't know about and can't measure. I don't know, because if you think, as you say, it's a closed system. Even though you're doing water changes, all the rocks are absorbing stuff, all the corals are absorbing, and the sand and the water change, all that stuff's absorbed. The sand, the water change doesn't change that. It still continues to absorb. And anything in life is a tipping point, isn't there, in health, where you're fine, all of a sudden you feel ropey, yet it's been building up for ages and you don't feel it. And I don't think the tanks are any different. So I think it's harder to keep beyond that. I only know when I had the tank for nearly 7 years, the last 18 months was a real challenge to keep it on point. And it wasn't about enthusiasm. There was just something, it wasn't as good in that last 18 months as it was in kind of year 3, 4, 5. I struggled in the period before I closed it down. And that was one of the reasons I just wasn't happy with it. And I got bored of it a little bit, although I was still doing everything I'd done. I needed to do something different because what I was doing wasn't enough for the tank. And so, there's something goes on over time that I don't think enough people keep the tanks long enough, probably, for us to understand the change in the chemistry, to understand what is the answer to that, the solution on that. Because very few go beyond 5 years, I would say.
Yeah, they do tend to. I think, like you say, there might be like build-up of detritus or something negative within the.
There may be just saying, or everything's just absorbed. Maybe everything's full. The sand is full. The rock is full. The holes are all full, and so where they naturally filter, maybe they just can't do it anymore. I don't know. I'm just guessing. It might be a complete load of crap, but I just feel that something goes on the longer that I can't put my finger on it. That it doesn't sparkle as much as it did.
Yeah, I agree. I think it is the sweet spot.
And a lot of people don't get that far because obviously you end up upgrading. I mean, I know you haven't, Jay, for the reason, but a lot of people, they let the tank for a year, like I did my first tank, and bang, I upgraded. And so therefore people are upgrading through the sizes, therefore they don't keep the tanks as long anyway. And it makes perfect sense why you go from a 2 foot to a 3, and then quite often people then go to a 5, and then they'll stop. And by the time you've got that, it's probably 3 years if you keep each tank for a year and a half.
No, I agree.
What's Drippy saying here? Couldn't agree more regarding the mental health side. Been recovering, breathing slows down, positive escape, not just life, magnifying my mind. Yeah, I think you don't have a reef tank if there's no point having a reef tank if you're not going to sit and look at it. Whether it's 10 minutes a day, an hour a day, you know, you're going to look at it, aren't you? And for me, I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, and he's done a lot as well. I know Drippy's done a lot for other people in the hobby.
He has. Big shout out to him, actually. He's just started a new job. He's, for some bizarre reason, he's dropped his tools and he's headed into the world of recruitment like me. So he's not a plasterer anymore, apart from a weekend. And he's, but there is a really nice story to this. And he's going to probably text me in a minute saying I'm telling it wrong. And I'm just going off piste a little bit, but it's worth mentioning. So somebody that he helped through recovery many moons ago has got their own recruitment business and reached out to him, who's fully recovered, and said, we've got a vacancy. How are you doing? Blah, blah, blah. We've got a vacancy. We think you'd be really good. And he suffers with a lot of bad arthritis because being a plasterer and since being a kid. And he wants a bit of not an easier life, but a normal life, should I say. So this guy, best physical, thank you. So yeah, this guy that he helped through recovery has basically employed him and given him a company car. So there's karma for you. So congratulations, mate. Yeah, congratulations again to you.
Yeah, nice one.
Yeah, hope it works out, mate.
But here we go. Cheers.
Yes.
Well done.
So big shout out to him. Evening, Chris. Thanks for joining us. Sorry we didn't see you there in the comments pop up. Thanks for joining us, mate. Any other comments about all that? Right. Well, surprise, surprise. Lee likes technology.
You can't fit
And
any
I
more
thought
in
he's got a ridiculous amount, but to be fair, it looks sweet. It looks good. And to be fair, I need to talk to you tomorrow, Lee, because my Apex has suddenly decided it's disconnected, even though it's plugged in. But anyway, we'll look at that tomorrow. Yeah,
Maybe
he's the guy who talks about Apex.
This doesn't apply to me, but out of interest, how many people's parents or like dad or mum had a tank and then they've gone on and got a tank? That wasn't the case for me, but I think it's the case for quite a lot of people in the hobby. Family members, like parents have had tanks in the family, and then you've got one.
Well, I think a lot of people. I think the majority of the people I talk to, and I wasn't one, go from tropical to marine. The vast majority, from what I've heard, from talk to people, it's like the next challenge, isn't it? The next sort of step. Yeah. But for me, literally, it was we'd had a marine tank since I was however old, and my mum. The story goes, my mum couldn't carry in the 60s, carry on doing water changes because it's quite going down to the LFS and carrying 25 litre drums, and so she said, "I'm getting rid of the tank," and she's like, "Oh, the mushrooms are really happy." I mean, the mushroom. So the water must have been horrendous because the mushrooms were massive. Not tested it, but anyway, we just got a fish, and it was a pink spot goby. And we called him Spike, as in the bulldog off Tom and Jerry, because he used to sit like that at the bottom of the sandbed. And you get emotionally attached to animals, don't you? Including fish and whatnot. And so we took that tank on in 14, 15 years ago, and the rest is history. Yeah.
I mean, just the way you talked about it, you came really animated. Obviously, like memories of like your family and stuff, and you having family time. Oh, I can remember. Sorry, I can remember. The tank was there in the background.
Yeah, I can remember sat in the back of the car on the way back. I mean, we used to go to an elephant. I can't remember the name. It was a garden centre in Matlock, which and it was the only sort of place in this area that did salt water. And I just loved the different colours, And I can often remember coming back, sat in the back of the car with a Regal tang or a Picasso trigger or whatever it was, yellow tang, and it was just a great, thing that we did on every other weekend and bring another fish in. But unfortunately, because my mum was bleaching everything to make it doorstep challenge white, we were buying another one the week after, another one the week after. But anyway.
But it's good memories, isn't it?
That's what everybody did. Yeah,
it's good memories. And, I think there's a few people who have tanks for that reason as well. They grew up with them and they associate them as like happy family life or whatever.
Yeah, it takes you back to those memories, doesn't it? I suppose.
Yeah. But your family didn't have a tank, Paul, no?
No, so Jill bought a freshwater tank for the kitchen, and she's still got it running original. So that was 13 years ago. And then I think we was in and LFS, and I saw salt water. So I started doing the research, and then Charterhouse, when it was in East London, had an open day celebrating for all their birthdays, and I went there and then just bought a whole setup from them, including live rock as it was then back in the day.
Wow.
So that's my mind. It was really through Jill that because
So did Jill's family have tanks or not?
Well, we used to, I mean, before that, when the boys were growing up, we had goldfish.
Yeah.
And we used to put the goldfish in a bowl, actually clean out the tank with soapy water.
Oh my god!
Rinse it out.
Wow.
All the gravel used to go, and we used to, all the bacteria basically used to get rinsed. Clean it all out, and then
You put it in the dishwasher.
I used to see people scrubbing the tank and everything else, and it went back on the side, and the
During the war.
get chucked back in, and we had the goldfish for ages. And you didn't think,
Wow.
yeah, I'd have a fit, but I remember sitting there in the sink with very liquid, washing out the bloody tank.
That Darren's asking, was that during the war?
I've not seen that. Where is he?
It was during the
World War One, wasn't it? I think
it was the 70s when we used to have power cuts. No,
Oh dear.
it was in the
Uncle Albert.
Yeah. So you don't know about Jill's family then, if they had tanks?
No, I don't know if they did or not. I don't remember having a goldfish.
Yeah.
One of my mates used to have piranhas in a tank in his bedroom. But that was when he was in
Liam would do that.
I think goldfish was always what you used to get at a fair, isn't it?
Yeah,
and then you had to keep them alive.
Yeah.
You know, for a few days.
Yeah.
So basically, it's Jill's fault that I'm obsessed and spent thousands of pounds of money, but she don't care anyway. But yeah, I'd have a lot more money if it wasn't for that. But yeah, you just chill out, don't you? And it's relaxing, and I enjoy this on a Friday night with you guys and everything. It's a life. I think it's a lifestyle. It becomes a way of life because of what you have to do every day, every week, and it has to be a lifestyle because the amount of money you sink into it. It's not just inside, is it? It's sinking some serious dough into it, especially when the electricity prices go up and you see the clock ticking and your bill going through the roof. That's a lifestyle, I think.
I think
there's also something, as daft as it sounds, something symbiotic between humans and animals and creatures, in general, whether it's a cat, a dog, a fish, a crab, whatever. Dave saying, my love is that I come home and I can just sit and watch the tank for hours. My zen. Yeah. It's even better than my diet. Better when my diet's up to done one. Yeah, you can get sorted, mate. So get sorted.
It's like, I love the coast. I love being at the sea. I love being at the coast and the rock pools and the beach and stuff. I live in Derby, so that was a bit of a crap plan, wasn't it, really? But so I'm like 3 hours from any coastline. So when I look at my reef tank, I just think of like holidays. I think of the coast. I think of holidays and been somewhere nice.
Yeah, that's a really good point because me and Joe often talk about this. If we go away, we want to be near the coast.
Yeah.
And or you can go somewhere in the countryside. I can sit there and go, so what?
Yeah.
If you go somewhere where you can, and we go to Cornwall a lot. I was in Carpish Bay 3 weeks ago. We just sat out there and we just chat all the time. You can hear the waves.
Yeah.
And you chill out. So I can look at the sea for hours, but the countryside, I go, yeah, so what?
Yeah. I get like that as well. Yeah, the coast is where I belong, but I live in Derby.
I don't know why, but I've just got a vision of you you've got a paddling pool and you're just swimming around it with your flippers and a snorkel on, pretending you're in like Great Barrier Reef or something.
Yeah, well, I'd love to live Gold Coast or Barrier Reef. Would be amazing, wouldn't it?
I've seen more and more videos on Instagram of the waters off of Cornwall. And I know we've talked about this before.
Yeah, they're unbelievable, aren't they? Yeah.
I mean, the clarity of the water, and then you see the starfish and the anemones and the rats and all that kind of stuff, and torches as well. Then obviously you can't compare it to the Great Barrier Reef, but the biodiversity and the different types, and you see quite a few people there scuba diving or free diving, and the seals are coming up around them, and just the different things there. It's completely obviously different to a coral reef, But
Yeah.
it's been amazing. Part of me thinks I wouldn't like to live in Cornwall, but if I did, I'd be out all the time in the water.
Yeah, the fish locker guy who Ross got us onto. He's I still follow his YouTube channel.
Yeah, so do I.
All right.
And he does the rock pooling and like the shore scavenging, and then he goes off and does his lobsters, and just that sort of life appeals, doesn't it? I think you meant to be a bit bleak.
Yeah, the thought of going out on the boat and then you're coming back with all fresh fish that you then you prepare and you cook a meal. I mean, that's worth a fortune because fish ain't cheap. But the fact you've got it that day and you've got it yourself and then you go and cook it, that must be an amazing feeling as well.
Did that? I've done that in Scotland. Done that in Scotland before. We went. Call it feathering when you put feathers on loads of feathers on a hook.
Yeah.
You catch the mackerel, and the skipper cut the mackerel up and put the mackerel on the hook, and then you catch bigger mackerel, and then you put the bigger mackerel on the hook, and then you catch a rate of different fish. Crazy how it all works. Yeah, gurnard, whiting.
My kids say to me, and I don't know what you think about this. They're like, kids at school, they'll be like, "Oh, sir, do you eat like fish? Do you eat fish?" I'm like, yeah, I'll eat fish and chips. They're like, how can you eat fish if you love them so much? I'm like, well, they're nice, aren't they? I'm like, what else do you say? It's a bit of a weird one because I think most fish keepers would eat fish, I'm sure. But it is a bit
you need to stop going to school in your Nemo Mankini though. It's kind of giving it away.
Because I took them to a fish and chip shop at the coast. They're like, "You're gonna have fish and chips, sir?" I thought you were mad about fish and the sea and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, well, I am a bit, but
prefer a battered sausage.
It made me feel guilty tucking into my fish and chips.
Yeah, I know what you mean, but I don't make the connection that it's bad.
Oh dear.
Not, is it?
In denial.
Should you feel guilty if you're a reefer eating fish and chips? I don't know.
No, don't think so.
I love fish.
Back to the subject. Sorry.
Sorry.
Right. Tony's saying one of the best bits is the Fabian I've had for 4 years is finally encrusting. My dad introduced me to The Hobbit. Yeah.
Absolutely.
4 years, that's a good length for life. That is.
It is.
Good.
Being retired and getting precious sauces in looking at Matt. Yeah. Looking at his tank while he's walking around his flat or apartment in his Hawaiian shirt. I'm sure he is.
I love this shirt. I can't wait. I've had a premiere of the shirt for Aqua H.
Yes, it will not be beaten. Will not be beaten. Yeah, everybody will have to put their orange glasses on just to.
You're not going to miss
Gaza, evening, Gaza. Thanks for joining us, buddy. Hope you're well.
Yeah.
We always have a look. He always does that one. Love that, Gaz.
He does. What's Alex putting? It's the history and the age of something. Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
I agree with that.
Most of it's from Indonesia. Well, most of mine is.
I think also when you've got coals that get shared around your local community and they go around and then you get different generations, and there was a bubble coral that I took into Port AAC because I had too many, and he couldn't believe it because he hadn't seen that bubble coral for years and years, and he had a piece of that, and obviously I bought it out in Essex, so whether it's just a case of he had that and then people bought from him and it got around and then he didn't have that generation anymore, and I took it in that used to be a really expensive piece, and it was quite a rare back in the day, and you remember piece, and then Laura's got a piece as well, and she said the same. So that's really nice as well around how things are then shared around and it carries on different generations over the years. Because ultimately, if you have a coral that in the end it will probably die, you close down the tank and it'll move on to someone else, and then how they keep on getting passed around for years and years, I think is quite good as well.
No, I agree.
So what would you say the worst bits are then?
Oh, what's worst?
I think when something dies for no apparent reason and everything else is okay, and then you're completely miffed as to what's gone on, what have you done, because everything else is okay, and it's not something that is really hard to look after and you just can't explain it. And I had that where I had a tricolour acro that I'd had for years. I had a piece in the big tank here, a piece in the garage. So 2 different tanks, and both colonies dies at the same time. Everything else across the 3 tanks I had, and then for some reason they both went. And I was fragging it to try and keep it going and stuff like that, and I couldn't save it. And I'd already had it for about 3 years. So it had grown out, and I'd frag it, and you know, you put it in different tanks. Sometimes if something happens to that tank, you got protect. And it must have been something in the environment because they're in different rooms.
Yeah.
So something like that is where it's really frustrating. You think, well, what the hell did I do then?
Cheeky son. Darren, that takes a pee, that does. What do you dislike about the hobby? See Darren's comment there. Bang out of order. That is Darren. Come on, for God's sake.
Oh dear.
Low blow. Bryops.
About 2 years of pain.
Horrible, that is. Supposed to be horrible to get rid of.
Oh dear.
You can't even pick it off, can you? You can't even scratch it off.
Evening Sky Marine. Thanks for joining us.
Nice one, mate.
What's your name? Nice to know. Thank you.
Good to see you, buddy.
Oh, and who we got? Also, the Grumpy Evening. An hour in. Better late than never, mate. Cheers.
Now then, mate. How's the decorating?
I'm not sure whether we count out to Rigsy, but again, I don't think
we're like adding something new. Yeah, it is. Every coral, every fish you add, there's that window of like, oh, I hope it's all right. I think
definitely with fish, because you're then changing the whole hierarchy of what's going on. And one fish can just totally, I wouldn't say destroy, I suppose it can, but even if it hasn't come in with a disease, it comes in and the whole pecking order changes, and then you start getting bullying and stress and other stuff like that. So I think certainly for me, fish can be like that, because you never know. They say, oh, that fish is good as gold, blah, 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 and you get a rogue fish. Because it can happen, can't you? And on the flip side, you get one that's really aggressive and it's as fine and dandy. So I think fish sure is one of those you think, should I put the extra fish in? I know you've considered it, Tom, haven't you, about should I go and put an extra X of this and Y of that, when you know you've got as much harmony as you're going to get with that tank with those fish.
Get some sexy shrimp. They don't kick off. They're peaceful as anything. There's been no kick off.
They'd last about 10 seconds with my chorus in here, honestly.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They're a £10 snack.
£10 snack.
Though, isn't it? Yeah.
When I put the peppermint, when I put the peppermints in my old system, it was exactly that. I think I got, I don't know how much they were. They were like 8. No, they weren't. I didn't get 8. I got half a dozen for however much, about 70, 80 quid. It wasn't cheap. And I'm sure within the first 5 minutes, me Melanaris, banana ras, and fairy literally just ate like 3 of them, 4 of them. Anyway, yes.
That's another thing, isn't it? Live foods, that's a bit controversial, isn't it? If I ever post that I'm feeding live foods, there's not a lot of love for it on social media.
No, but I think it's a bit. Well, Mogsy agreed with this ages ago, and I know people go, "Oh, it's only nature." Well, you can feed it dead or alive, and you don't need to feed it. You don't need to feed it alive. And I see it on Facebook and Instagram. People like pouring like loads of guppies into a predator tank and filming it. And I'm just like, oh, I don't know, putting a frog into a predator tank. Going, oh look, it's just pulled its leg off. What about
copepods? They're alive. What do you reckon about that, Tom?
I can't hear him. Can you?
Yeah, because I feed copepods, but I wouldn't have a frogfish and feed river shrimp to it.
Yeah, so it's a size. So it's a size.
And am I a hypocrite? Yeah, I am, because it's
if you can see its eyes. If you can see its eye, look into its eyes, you feel guilty.
Yeah, probably.
Oh, he's a big softie, really, he's Paul.
Dear.
As soon as they give him the eye, you can't put them in. Difficult one. I mean, I'm the same. I don't think I could feed I couldn't feed anything like large in there. But they like little brine shrimp. They're tiny, aren't they? I mean, I do feel a bit sorry for them because they can swim around, obviously, but they are a bit trapped, aren't they? But
yeah, but then so are the fish.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, It's just an interesting little, side topic to today's topic, I suppose.
I'm going to say that. I'm going to say one of the top 3 worst ones is that when you think you should have done something to your tank to counteract something, you don't do it. So it almost like contradicts what I always say about patience. But then when you see something, you don't act on it, and then something happens because you didn't act on it, then you're like kicking yourself to say, shoulda, woulda, coulda, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think with the advice one as well, there's just a lot of advice, isn't there? It's easy to make a mistake. I've always said, like, I've always kind of made all my decisions based on what I've felt ultimately. Like, I've listened to a few people, then I thought, right, this is what I'm going to do, and if it goes tits up, then it's my own fault. I can only blame myself.
It's on you regardless, isn't it? Because you will get, as we said before, you put something on Facebook, you'll get about 5 or 6 conflicting things, and then they'll go off track and have an argument with themselves about it. You think, what the hell's going on here? So you're more confused than you post. The good news is there's a lot of good people out there. The bad news is how do you find them? Because then you're going to be able to trust them. The live Daphne, that was a cracking live stream.
I didn't actually know, did I? I didn't know. Did not know. I was blind. But yeah, like, so I'd listen to what Tom said. I'd listen to what you say. I'd listen to what Steve and Ross and Christian said. And then, like, right, what's the common theme here out of you guys? And I'll just go with that. Then that's my
the majority. Yeah.
But also, there is different ways of doing it. There isn't just one way of solving a problem, and that's also complicates it because depending on your setup, you can have 3 or 4 different solutions. It's got to be what's right for your setup and what are you good with, because some can be really time consuming that actually you're never going to do.
Yeah.
But it might be the best. So you've got to kind of cut off on that as well, haven't you? So one size doesn't fit, or even if it is the best solution, it may not necessarily be for your tank or for the way you run your tank.
I do agree with that, actually. I do agree a lot with that. Like, obviously, we've got similar tanks. Like, there's loads of Red Sea Max Nanos out there. There's, but every one of them, every single one of them has different chemistry, has a different bioload, has a different. So it's like they're all unique in that way. And like you say, going back to what you just said then, one size does not fit all, does it?
Yeah, I mean, the lighting, you can say, would be very similar. You could do that. You could mimic the lighting, but the flow you can't, because just by having that pump out by a couple of inches, and then you're not going to get a rockscape. That's exactly what you could do, I suppose. You could get someone to custom make it, and it could be exactly the same. But as soon as that's out by a bit, and then your flow's out by a little bit, you've got a completely different tank.
Then you've got different species in there.
Yeah, I found in one of the tanks, a Goniopora was on the sand bed.
Yeah.
Really nice, doing really, really well. And then down towards the bottom of the sand bed, it started to die off. So what I've done now, I've sat it on a piece of rock in the same place higher up. It's come back because the flow is now better there. So just, you just got to experiment now. If that was in a different tank, if I ended up putting it there, it'd be completely different.
Yeah.
So
I tell you what, Jerry, a good experiment for you would be to have your next tank and have it underneath your sunbed. And just see what that does.
I was intrigued then. I was like, going to say something good here. And then, okay.
Should have known.
It was good. I think you should do it.
Right back to the sunbed. I was going to say something else, though. What was I going to say then?
I was saying, trusting a shop and not QT in a fish, catching velvet and having to go fallow for 100 days. Feel you on that one with my QT in the garage. It is empty and no fish no more. But such is life, as I say. Fortunately, one of the thumbs down of the hobby. But Jay, have you remembered yet?
Yeah, I have. I'm going to congratulate Paul on his 170 video. On his 170 video that he's put on YouTube. Not for having a 170, but for the fact that your aquascape that's floating is still floating after what? 4 years, is it nearly now?
It'll be coming up for 4 years. So I'm going to do a video, a retrospective one, because you see lots of floating aquascapes on YouTube, but none of them have been on. No one comes back and says this is after 2 years or 4 years. I don't think there's any of them out there. And you know how much flack I took when I do that. It's the video that has the most thumbs down. I had loads of messages saying you're giving bad advice. It won't last 2 minutes.
It's going to drop off in a week or something.
I had some rows with people on forums because
Mm.
they said you can't put acrylic on glass, and I said you're totally right. It's not on glass; it's on plastic. So they was talking out their backside. So it's really interesting. It's probably the only time I've taken tons and tons of flat. In the
Yeah.
scheme of things. So yeah, with Touchwood, it's still
There you go.
there, and
Awesome.
I love it. It's so easy to look after. Touchwood, he
Yeah.
says.
Do you know what? Darren's just said. Darren's just took the words out of my mouth because I was about to just say one thing. I will say that I don't like about this hobby is how the vast majority, not all, and will pick up on a negative on your tank over a
Yeah.
positive, and
Yeah.
it's just like grow up. You know,
Why do that?
don't stand there or sit there and pretend that you're Snow White and you've never done something wrong and you've never had an issue.
Yeah.
We're keeping nature in a box of glass, you know, a box of water. You're always gonna have ups and downs. It's part of it. And if you're not man enough to say I made a mistake, you know, then it is what it is. Just like me and you being friends on Facebook, Jay. But anyway,
Just don't hate on other people. Don't hate on other people's tanks. It's just like find the positives.
don't hate the player, hate the game.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
so
no.
I really enjoy
don't
that.
get that. Cool. I don't get that.
It's a good one.
So are we going to do a poll? Because it's 9 o'clock now, and I feel like I need a couple of attempts of this before you start laughing me out of the out of the group chat.
So what a poll on what? What's the question?
Are we going to? I think we need to go. People's, what are we going to go? The best bit about the hobby or the worst bit about the hobby?
Do the best poll or whatever. The best bits poll or something.
Yeah. Okay.
And
What's the question?
there's what's the best bits about the hobby? What is the best
bit about the hobby? The number one?
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Okay.
So what's the four
You
options?
can only have 4 options, can't you? I think. Can't you,
Yeah.
I don't even know how to do it. Literally, I need school in here, Paul. So.
Oh right. So you'd have to go. You have to open another tab.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Easy done.
YouTube Studio.
YouTube Studio. So apologies, everybody. The stabilizers are on. YouTube Studio. Yeah.
Right. I mean, I'm going into it myself. So
oh wow. Okay.
Doesn't work on mine. Good shout. That is.
Right.
Yeah,
so
but you've got parental control locked on yours, Jay. That's why.
You click onto content.
Yeah. Got you. Yeah.
And then click onto live.
Yeah.
You should see your live stream.
I do. Yeah.
And now you need to click on. There should be a red circle, I think, with brackets either side of it.
View in live control room.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
Okay. Oh wow. Okay.
The bottom
Is
right.
this video made for kids?
Bottom. Put no.
I've put no.
Right, bottom right hand corner, you've got your comments, and at the bottom, you've got some icons. One of those icons will be for a poll.
So I've got the emotes, and I've got engage with the audience plus, and I've got a pop out now. I've not got a poll. It's all right. We can't do it.
On the live chat, when I have had it, I've had it on the. If you go to the actual video on YouTube, and then you can go to the live chat section, and the bottom right, it was poll.
You're on live chat. So have you got all the comments on the right hand side that you can see on screen?
Start a poll. I've done it. Start a poll.
Right.
Ask a question. Yes or no.
Yes.
Does Tom look?
I don't. Does what?
Mr. Tumble. You said it was for kids. You said it's for kids. You're the Mr. Tumble of the coral world. You are.
Oh dear.
He's more like Jeffrey or Zippy.
Yeah. Oh, it's in the rainbow. Oh bloody hell.
I take it this studio is delayed. It's got lag.
There's about a 30-second lag between StreamYard and YouTube.
Yeah, there is.
This is a reefing. Really? Oh, I do apologise, Drippy. Right. So, what question am I asking then?
Well,
how do we do that?
Well, you type it in.
Yeah, but you see, yeah, I've got a yes or a no, so it's a close question. We
Yeah,
want to know.
So what you can do, you can click on other boxes. You can click on the yes, and you
Yeah.
can change the answer, the question, change no, and you should be able to then get 2 other questions or 2 other answers, should we say? So you
Yeah,
have a
you can.
maximum of 4.
Right, okay.
You can do this. I
TV
believe
do a
in
poll on crazy shirts. Right, so we're gonna.
What's the
Yeah,
question?
go away. Go and do some work.
Go and recruit someone.
I'm
Yeah,
recruiting.
go and recruit.
Reefing.
Amuse yourself while Tom goes back to
Right.
school.
Hey, I tell
Honestly.
you what, Tom could have
Meant to
done
be
with a decent recruiter earlier this week, couldn't they?
I know, yeah, bloody hell. It took
Oh.
him 3 weeks to do his garden.
Painting that shed, it was like the 4th bridge, wasn't it?
Took him. We had an update every day, and it didn't seem to get any.
No, it wasn't, was it? I thought it was a steal. I didn't
It looks
think
good now, though.
Well, I had to silence the group chat because at one day you were just rinsing the. I mean, I was just like, I know it's so easy, but I was just like boring, trying to do some painting. Anyway,
This was like day 26. You're like, I'm still painting.
all right. Actually, it's a nice cut.
bad,
It's
is
it's not a bad one. Anyway,
I thought you were
so
painting it with a Tipex brush.
Oh yeah, the Tipex. He got that from the office, didn't he? The Tipex.
It's his missus's nail brush he was using to do it, I think. You're taking that long. Cutting in.
right, let me know when we're back in the room, please.
Right, have you done this poll
What a
yet,
drink.
Tom? Jesus
What's
Christ.
the question?
I don't know, but I feel
Well, I
like
thought we were gonna. Sorry, am I boring you? I
feel
thought we were
like
going to ask. Quiet down, Stafford.
Right, I'll shut up for 5 minutes.
So, what are we're saying? The top? Are we going to go for the top 3 best bits of reefing?
Yes.
So, how do I facilitate this poll, please?
Right. You can say what's the best bits of reefing, and then you could have community as being one.
Yeah.
2, you can have, I don't know, growing a frag to a colony. So I'm just making this up. So there might be better options here. And then
All right. Okay. Yeah.
3rd one, I don't know.
Why are you laughing? That
He's laughing at
is what's he put now? What's he put now?
We had noticed, Cole.
Oh, excuse me. I should have some encouragement for at least attempting this. I might have.
I know.
So come on.
No, it's not me. It's the chat that's.
Yeah,
Well, it's entertaining, isn't it?
Governor, it won't get me.
It's a key letter. I'll wrap it round your head when I see you next. Right. Barbecues cancelled. Bullying, just full stop. Reefing community. Come on, then. What else are we saying? Corals grow. Corals. You are. Yeah.
Growing
You may, Stafford.
Community, and then the other one, creating an ecosystem. That's what Jay said. That's yeah.
Well, there's 4 in there.
Well, he's doing 3.
I'm gonna call it a stable ecosystem because I think that's kind of key word. Right. So what do I do there then? Must contain between 1 and 35 characters. Oh, hang on. Delete. Right. Go. Boom. Think I've done it.
Have you done it? It hasn't come up.
Right,
Here it is. Yeah, I've got it.
The poll is on. Well, these are crap options.
I've voted.
What? Honestly, he's sat there. I can just imagine him just sat there giggling his little. Oh, just going. Yeah. Well, I hope on Monday morning, mate, nobody turns up for work for you. You've got to go and backfill all them bookings. Anyway. Right. So, is that poll live now? I take it.
Live,
For now.
16 votes, so it's doing well.
Oh, thank you very much for the support.
Only took half hour.
Oh well, such is life. Anyway, it's Friday. Have a beer, chill out. What you got planned for the weekend, Jay? Anything?
It's your first poll. I'm going Blackpool Pleasure Beach.
Ah, you are. That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
So my
Are you
boy-
going? Are you going in
I
your
know.
your platform shoes so you can get on the rides?
What? I'm not going to Funny Girls or whatever it is. That bloody
Must
whatever
be
it is.
above this. Must be above this line to ride the flumes, the log flume. No.
I want to go on Icon and the big one at Blackpool. Well, my boy does. He's like he loves roller coasters. So yeah, hanging out in Blackpool. I think it's going to rain tomorrow, but then sunny on Sunday. I think. But that's the plan. Blackpool. It's quite pricey now, though. You can't just pay as you go. In like olden days, you could just walk in and pay for each ride, but now you have to. It's like Alton Towers.
An entry fee and all that.
Yeah, it's like Alton Towers. Yeah, you pay one fee now. Yeah. So yeah, and you're having your barbecue.
I am having the barbecue tomorrow. Yeah. There's 10 of us confirmed.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, 11, I think. 11, I think. You what? Sorry.
Who's on the guest list? Do we know? Are they in the chat? Some of them.
Yeah, we've got Lee, Alex, Liam, Tim, Matt, Christian's coming. Spoke to him earlier.
Oh, nice.
Bullock's coming. Who's Trout? People who know who he is. This neck of the woods off Ultimate Reef. We've got we've got Richard's coming. Will's coming. I think there's 10 of us. 10, 11 of us. Yeah.
Are they all staying at yours then? Because obviously they're all having a good drink. So
no. I think majority of people are driving. So
all right,
fruit shoots, Jay. I use your discount code and got fruit shoots in multi-packs. Cheers.
Very good.
Yeah, that'd be good. That'd be that's awesome that you put that on as well.
Every year I'm going to do it. So next year, if you want to put a "Can I go out, please, Kate" card in
To book it
in time, to book it in, you're good.
I'll do that now. I know when it is. I'll make sure that I'm free.
Good, mate. Good stuff.
We are going to Aqua H, aren't we? In September.
Of course we are.
Good.
I've booked my ticket, but I don't know.
Well, I hope so.
Because it depends on the football.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, we can hang out.
Football.
For
Hanging about with your football's more important than your reefing buddies. Really?
it's very important.
Football's the number one thing.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's very important.
I very rarely do I miss a football game. I've put off all kinds of things to go to football.
And you're West Ham, aren't you? Is that right?
Yeah. So at the moment we've got a game on the Saturday, but it could get changed to the Sunday because of Sky. So, I mean, I could go Aqua H on the Sunday, but I don't really want to go on the Sunday. I'd rather go on a Saturday. So we'll
go on the Saturday. You just go on a Sunday. It's fine. We'll be all right.
So I've bought me tickets. So I got me ticket. Just depends what happens.
Who are they playing? Man City. Don't bother.
No, playing Chelsea at home. So yeah.
Oh, that's a rival.
Right. How do I do this poll then? 'Cause it's 9:20. Just to try and keep a little things.
Right hand corner and end the poll.
End your poll, yeah.
On what? On the studio or on StreamYard? Studio. I've got M stream. I've not got M poll. Where's M poll going to be?
It's on your live chat of your YouTube video. Usually, you can just click on M. You can end it. No one else can, but you can.
Oh, right. Okay.
Usually.
M poll. There we go.
Yeah.
So how do I share the actual results?
No, they're on. They're on. They never.
I can see it in the chat. You can't see it on StreamYard, but you can see it. So I always run next to me a tablet, so I can see it.
Right, okay. So the reefing community won 44%. Coral's growing 34% and creating a stable ecosystem 20%. So thank you very much for everybody who participated, including Drippy. I'm sure you did.
And on that
Locals,
note, more community events, more Aqua H, more barbecues.
Oh God, football or reefing, really?
2 barbecues a year now. That's just photos.
You what? Sorry.
that poll means that you now have to do
Yeah.
2 barbecues a year rather than 1 because everybody loves getting together and talking about reefing.
It's fine. I don't mind.
Yeah,
Got the
I'll come to
space. Not an issue.
I'll come to the Christmas one.
Christmas.
Or
Really?
whatever. Autumn one.
So that was a good poll. I wonder if it was on a different stream or something like that, would you get the same outcome from a reefing community? Because a lot of people that we've had on a regular basis that going to the barbecue, they've been to Love to Reef. There's quite a few people. There's some new
sleepover.
Yeah, there's people that's been with us since day one, and think people like John. He's been on more live streams than we have. I don't think he's missed one.
I don't think he's missed any.
Yeah, so there is a good community on here. So we'd all vote. I mean, I voted for community, to be fair.
I did as well.
Really good. Yeah. But maybe not everyone will think that way. But yeah.
Good.
There you go.
Yeah. Good poll, Tom. Good poll.
It was. Well done. Seamless as always, but it was excellent.
That was good.
Oh dear.
Not easy doing a poll.
It's not.
Thanks, Liam.
Yeah, smash the like button.
After that, he definitely needs a thumbs up for that, guys.
And also, anyone who's on the stream who has not subbed to TV Corals, because I can see you on.
Yeah, would appreciate it.
So you're only 9 away from getting that. Actually, there's not that. There's only about 10% of people get to 1,000 subs. But actually, getting to 100 is a big achievement because a lot of people don't get to 100 either.
Yeah, it's good.
Cajun Reefer, good evening. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, Cajun. Good to see you.
So, you're going to Pleasure Island. Did I say that right? No, not Pleasure Island.
That's a Pleasure Beach.
that's in your dreams.
Pleasure Island,
Beach, sorry.
Where you've been? No, I haven't been to Pleasure Island.
To be fair, Pleasure Island is actually where Johnny Boy is because that's Cleethorpes from memory. If I'm right, sure it is. Pleasure Island, Skegness, Ingermells. Well, plans this weekend?
No. Not a lot, I don't think.
Whatever Jill tells you, you're doing.
Yeah, I've got some stuff to do out in the garden. It's for chill out after last weekend, post the kind of wedding and all that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah,
there's
digging the sausage into the ground.
I tell you what, that worked a treat.
You should be doing that tonight for your barbecue.
Yeah, you better go out and bury a sausage.
Get out tonight.
I'll go and put my sausage in the lawn. Yeah.
Tell them I'm off out to bury the sausage. And then go dig up a bit of your garden. See what you
Oh dear.
Well, mine's still in a plant pot in the greenhouse because if I put it in the ground, the dog would have had a field day trying to sniff out the sausage.
I would definitely get the sausage back out because it's just going to rot and stink.
So many euphemisms flying around right now.
Well,
anyway,
it's serious stuff. We had a great wedding. Didn't rain. Fantastic sunshine. The other days it rained. Buried the sausage at 5 minutes to midnight, and it was sunny. I mean, factually correct. Jill's walked in now.
Who is doubting the sausage?
Say hello, Jill. Say hello. Come on, let's get her on. No, I can't see you.
Do not doubt the sausage. It works.
Do not doubt the sausage. The sausage works every time.
Well, there we go.
There you go.
Jill's a fan of the sausage. Clearly, you're doing something right, Paul. Clearly,
not many things, but burying a sausage 5 minutes to midnight, spot on.
The best. Buries it better than anyone.
Right, okay.
And do you know what? It was a Cumberland sausage as well. I'm saying, just FYI.
Evening Critical, mate. Thanks for joining us for the last half an hour or so. Hope you're well, buddy.
Yeah, good to see you, mate.
Anyway,
awesome.
Back in the room.
Yeah.
So, we're going to quickly do a poll on the worst bits, and then we'll wrap it up with a bit of positivity for the weekend.
Yes.
Right. So, studio. Here I go.
Yeah.
Oh,
Did it? No. I can't remember where it was. Stop off. Right, I've got it. Right, so Bear with. I've got to make sure my spelling's on point because somebody's going to criticise me. Not that enough critique already.
Hey, you're all right.
Worst bits.
I tell you, while you're doing that, there's a question in the chat. Jay, how are you cooling your tank?
How am I cooling it? Oh, with the
Tony,
window
second-
open.
It just keeps walking past it going, how you doing?
The window. With the window, because at the moment we're on, I don't know if you can see, but it's 27.5.
That's quite high, isn't it? I thought you'd had the
20%.
fan out.
Um,
Off the top of the
My
tank,
wife's
Joe.
got that. My wife's got that in the room
Uh,
because she's also very hot.
there we go.
Which I knew when I met her when I was 18, but still.
Yeah. Tom's not listening. You can tell. You can see the concentration on his face. Can't you?
The actual,
I thought he wanted to go to the toilet.
now
the brain.
I'm checking my spelling because I just know something going. That's not how you spell that.
Yeah, he spelled THE.
But what's the question and what's the answers?
I know, yeah. What word are you trying to spell that you're struggling with?
I'm not. It's fine. We're all good. Back in the room. You two carry on talking to each other. We're all right.
What we don't like now. The worst thing about the hobby.
So what we don't like?
So are we? Has everybody? Have we gone through 3 things for that? I don't know.
We went for about.
I'm going for losing livestock, diseases and pests.
And what's the third?
What's the third one? I'm going to go with
Social media.
Friday night live streams.
Social media.
Social media. That's a
poor
good call. That could
poor
be
advice.
The live stream. Poor advice. Oh, right. It's dodged a bullet.
Oh, poor advice. There we go. That's more. Yeah, just critique that a little bit. Oh, there we go.
Thank you very much.
You spelled it wrong.
That's not how you spell diseases.
Yes, it is.
I know. So I just trying to wind you up.
There's 2 words that I struggle with: diseases and license. I don't know why. The C's and the S's.
You just don't like
Anyway.
Painting. He struggles with.
Anyway. Cost of coral.
Oh.
I agree.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, that's a good one, that one, to be fair. Missed that one. Sorry,
of
Dave,
hobby.
mate. Cost of hobby.
hobby.
Yeah, cost of hobby. Yeah.
Yeah, I should have put that in. I'd have voted for that.
Yeah.
Can you change your mind?
What is it? I voted for the top one. Losing stomach. Yeah, that's what I voted for.
Really?
Losing.
Honestly.
Wake me up when the balls are
This guy.
sore.
Well,
Take
a bit
that.
of entertainment. I listen, I don't mind people ridiculing me. I've had it for the last 43 years. Not an issue. Jay, you'll be able to relate
That's
to that.
true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bullying is just character building. Yeah. I had it.
I tell you what, that's a good one by Darren. Reefers selling cobbles for shop prices, because that really irritates me as well.
Mm. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
Both things on you.
Well, what about when you? Oh, hang on.
Good
You all
job,
right?
good job I gave him a free one now then. He feels a bit better. I felt guilty for I charged him.
What about when you buy a coral offline and it comes and it's absolutely nothing like what you ordered, or it's like half the size? So the picture's like, and it's like this. Anyway.
I thought you were going to tell the other story of it having known pests on it from the seller. That would really.
There is that as well. Yeah, there is that as well, mate. There is that.
Yeah.
People hiding information that they actually know to damage somebody else's tank. That is.
Yeah, definitely.
That is low.
Potentially damage somebody else's. Yeah.
That is
Definitely.
pretty low.
Definitely.
If you don't know about it, that's different. If you know about something, you should tell them.
I tell you, one of the things is, and we've discussed this was ages ago, where online sellers will say that actually you have to report it within 1 or 2 hours. You can't have a refund. You
Oh,
can have a
DOA.
refund, but you can't have you can have a refund, but not for your postage, because all that is rubbish. Because legally you can get your full money back. We've had that conversation before. If you raise a case and everything else, so people just making up things to protect the coals they've sold, where it's not. I wouldn't say it's against the law, because that sounds dramatic. But it's against the kind of distance selling laws and stuff like that. So therefore, you think you can't get the money back, or they'll say we'll give you credit. Again, that's rubbish. If it's wrong, then you're entitled to a full refund. Blah blah blah. No questions asked. It's the risk of selling online about a full refund and things dying in the post and things like that. So they put the onus on you, and the onus is on them legally. So that really annoyed. We had a whole live stream talking about it years ago, when people were getting ripped off and things were dying in the post, and there was people refusing to give them refunds. And I helped a couple of people on Instagram get their money back as well on that side. So that's really annoying.
I've seen it. Just ignore, honestly. You just ignore. He is literally the naughty boy at school at the back of the class. Hasn't done his homework. Just ignore him, and he will go away. Anyway,
you know you can boot him out, can't you?
How is the thumb? The last. Have a look.
Oh, that's all right. It's better.
Yeah, it's all right. I don't know what you're moaning about.
it's all right.
Yeah.
£10 for a 10mm syringe of manganese. Wow. Okay then.
Oh my God! What a rip off! That is a rip off.
It is.
Just a bit.
That must be down south.
LFSs that sell you anything for profit. Yeah, couldn't agree more. I would say, Steve's all right. He was in the live stream. He was on the group chat earlier, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. I think what you're saying, he'll be back soon. I think he's still getting some crappy shifts, haven't he? Because he missed the football shift because he was getting a lot of late shifts. So he will be back, from what I saw. It'll be fairly soon, but I don't know if that means a week or 3 or 4 weeks. So it'd be good to have him back.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
I'll end the poll.
He's missing the chat.
He is. Yeah. Mind you, you see the post of his Evo looking absolutely stunning.
It's looking good. Yeah, it is. It's looking really good.
He's done a couple of posts on Instagram.
I haven't seen one.
It's on point. It looks. I mean, it's probably the best Evo I've seen.
He's so talented at what he does.
It looks superb, and it's got gonioporas in it, torches, a real range of LPS. It looks fantastic.
Right, so I've ended the poll. There you go. Well, thank you very much. Good. 24 people voted. Thank you very much again for participation. Is key. Losing livestock, 50% of the viewers said, yeah, I think we all say it's a bit of a thumbs down when that happens.
Yeah.
Diseases, pests, 29%, poor advice, 20%. Okay. So we're going with the community is the best bit then, and losing livestock was the worst bit, which the thing that people say the community is number one is quite encouraging, because from all the sort of challenges of having been in the hobby these days, whether it's cost, not just buying into the hobby, but maintaining it, electric and everything else, salt, whatever else. It's quite good to know that the community is what is the glue, without sounding as so much a cliche, that keeps it all together for people. So I think it's key that. I said that before. If you get into a local chat group and you meet people, I mean, I've met a couple of friends in the hobby, people that I've tried to avoid, like Drippy, Jay, etc. But other than that, the majority of reefers are quite nice, quite civilised and polite, Darren, Dave, thanks ever so much for your support. Lee, Carl, Tim. But try and avoid, obviously, Jay, and there's always the odd one, Jay and Drippy.
You always
Anyway,
get the rogue. You
moving
always
on.
get some rogues everywhere, don't you? Every office
rogue.
gets rogues.
You know,
This is
below. Anyway, so I'm not being nasty. Shoot first, mate. Anyway.
Yeah. I'm
So-
used to it. Used to it.
So, what are the next things that you two are going to be doing to your tanks? And don't say water
Well-
change; it takes you all of 30 seconds. So let's not even go down that route. What's the next? What's the next plans? Come on, talk to me.
So I bought
Anyway.
this, which was Dr. It doesn't really say Dr. Tim's other than now. So it's a Dr. Tim's waste away. Now he spoke about it on the video that
Right.
Is this
did
the
months
gel?
ago. It's the waste away gel. So I thought I would buy
Yeah.
it for this tank here because he was talking about it, and I think there's a couple of people in the chat have
Yeah.
used it. So I'm gonna last up to 30 days. I think you just put it in the tank, and it's supposed to clean the tank.
Yeah. But
So-
it does it like staged, doesn't it? Rather than all at once, like a big
Yeah,
shot.
so the gel, I suppose, deteriorates and
Yeah.
releases into the tank over a 30-day period, I think.
Right.
And so I haven't read about it. I just bought it because Dr. Tim was talking about it, and the fact that he spent an hour of his time gassing with me, I
Yeah.
thought I'd give it a go.
Yeah.
I've never,
So
I've
yeah,
never
I've got
seen it.
that.
So where from? AAC did they have it?
No, I think
Online.
I think I ordered it online.
Yeah.
I don't think they've got it.
Never ever seen it ever in a shop. But...
No, so I think I ordered it when I got the what's it called? The stuff when I'm dosing some stuff in here. The
Does it say C-Chem on it as well?
you what?
Looks like it says C-Chem on the label as well.
Does
No.
I don't know. Have a look. I didn't think so because it's not in the big title of Dr. Tim's. As I say, the Dr. Tim's bit is just a small bit
Oh.
there.
Oh, waste away. It says it's just
Yeah,
right-
waste away.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I bought it at the same time. So I'm still dosing the silicates for
Yeah.
the dinos, and the corals seem to love it. But so I
Mm.
carry on doing that. So yeah, I'm going to try that as something different. And it's blue as well. So yeah, you got the color right as well. Chris.
Oh my God!
Is it a
I
blue
shouldn't have
loop?
done that because I'm just encouraging him. My days.
I suppose
make
it does.
water
It
like
does the
still
same
water?
thing, doesn't it? It takes the crap out and
Yeah,
leaves it clean.
blue
And it's
loop.
blue. So for once, Drippy's right.
I
There you
guess.
go.
For once.
£10
It's a
for one
first.
blue loop. That's expensive.
Dan was asking, do you put it in the sump pole?
I don't know because I haven't read up on it. I just bought it, and I suppose I put a bit of research. Mind you, I haven't got a sump in here, so I'm not too sure where I'm going to put it. So I need to actually this week. I'll have a look at it. I'll come back next week as to how I've managed to mess up the whole tank by using it. No, I'm sure it's fine. Instructions.
Is it like the
there is-
same cube for any size system? That seems a bit random.
No, this one says up to 100. So you buy
Ah.
different sizes for the different volume of
I thought you
of
must
tank.
have to.
Yeah, so I've got
Yeah.
it for a small tank. I don't know what's. I don't think they'll do one for a 2,000 litre. It'll be the bit of
Tom's
size
got-
of I don't know how big it would be for a 2,000 litre. But
Tom's already got his blue loos on. Look how blue it is in the background.
No.
he's got waste away. Yeah,
He's got waste away. Properly
yeah.
blue.
So
Nice,
so I'm going to use it, but I should probably look at the instructions first. So that's what I'm going to do. I'll let you know how I get on.
Mm.
Wow.
Of
There
course.
you go.
Something a bit
How's
different.
Clive? Is he all right?
Oh, Clive. We haven't had Clive watch, have we?
Clive, watch. Where is
And
it?
what about Jay?
Oh,
What
he's
about
up
the
here. He's
coral?
up here.
And also the coral as well.
Oh yeah, that's
What do you mean?
browned out.
What do you mean the coral?
No,
The one
look,
he- the one he gave you.
it's browned
Oh,
out.
God, it's still alive. Hang on, behave, because I'm going to trip over. I got bit last night by 2 ants. I got 2 ant bites sat outside in the garden. I mean, the leg is so swollen.
What's that?
Walking around like, honestly. Right, where is he?
What's
That's
that?
Clive.
That's Clive. Oh, you're looking a bit off colour.
Oh
Oh,
yes.
oh my God. You want orange glasses as well? Crying out loud.
He's looking a bit blue. Oh, there we go.
Oh, hey. Oh, look at him.
All right, fantastic.
He's a fantastic fish. Looks
Yeah.
so good as well.
And what
No,
about the
it's-
coral?
I do like Clive watch.
We did
Tank's
like
looking
Clive.
all right.
Clive
It's looking,
watch.
it's looking good.
Yeah, it's looking really good, mate. The tank
Yeah.
is. Sandbed looks clean.
Yeah.
Yellow tang looks fat as well there.
Yeah.
Don't fat shame the fish, Jay.
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, plump fish is a healthy fish, isn't it? Yeah, looks good.
You can see all right, can't you? Yeah.
He's 8 years.
Yeah.
What do you want to see? Oh, you're an acropora. Hang on, I need to go outside to the wheelie bin. 1 minute.
Here we go. Oh wow,
Looking
still
good.
there, and it's red as well. Yes, well done, mate.
Of course it is.
that's gonna look good. Hey, the tank is looking really well.
It's good, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
Nice.
looking really good. Yeah,
Are we good?
well done,
I
mate.
think
Yeah,
so.
it's awesome. Looks good.
Happy with that?
Yeah, really happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, really happy.
Marvellous. You have to look at
put
it.
a lot of time into it, though. You do put a hell of a lot of time into it.
It gets probably about 10 hours a week. Yeah.
That's a big investment, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, financially and time, definitely twofold. Yeah, and that goes back to what we always say: having the balance of the two, really.
It's lifestyle,
You know.
isn't it? 10 hours a week. That's
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah.
Well, I definitely give it an hour a day when I'm not doing water changes, and then testing probably about an hour, and then water change. I mean, that was a rush. That was a record. That was like a F1 pit stop earlier with me and Kaz, to be fair, before the live stream. That was 2 hours. Because I gravel vac, because obviously I've got the gravel. I gravel vac as much as I can, just aesthetically more than just for nutrient build-up. But yeah, it's and then in fact I haven't even done it yet. Clean skimmer, top calclasser up, change the filter floss, which I always have to do. But yeah, I'm a big advocate of this. Just find something that works for you, because you're more likely to stick at it.
Yeah.
And the more you stick at it, the more success you'll have, or more chance of success you'll have. Anyway, that's what I've found over the years.
So what gravel vac do you use, Tom?
Here's what I made earlier, Blue Peter style.
Oh, it's
Oh.
No,
Do you have cabinet doors on that? Because I never see the doors on it as well. Oh,
yeah,
sorry.
it's just the temperature at the minute, mate. It's just a bit crazy up here. I mean, the tank at the minute is sitting at 28.4 right now.
28.
Yeah, 0.4. Yeah.
We might not see that coral next week then. Jesus Christ.
Mate, honestly, I said this to you before. People freak out about. I'm a big advocate. I really do think that having parameters, including temperature and salinity, to an extent that fluctuate, only hardens your tank.
Well, we're almost climbing out of that tank. It's too hot. Yeah.
Well, if you think about it logically, if you lived in an house and you never went out and mixed with people, so you could pick up germs and be able to deal with different, you'd be more likely to pick something up. Whereas if you've got, different parameters, well, how many tanks have got they have issues with nitrates or phosphates and alkalinity or high this and low that, and you have spikes. But I think, fluctuations is different to spikes. I have fluctuations, so yeah, my tank increases in temperature, but it doesn't go any higher than 28.5, 28.6. 29 is when I start to get a little bit itchy. But I've done a lot of reading into temperature, and I spoke to Rob about this at length, and he agrees with me. A lot of the corals I'm keeping, there's no torches, no LPS in here, so there's no softies, so they're all sticks. And I'm not saying that they've necessarily come from a tank that's been running at this high temperature, but they're made to live in those parameters because that's where they were.
Yeah.
So they're more likely to be able to.
Where does it normally sit though?
Pardon?
Where does it normally sit in it? Where does it normally? What temperature does it normally sit?
27 and a half.
Yeah, I thought it was always
high
high.
anyway. Yeah.
Yeah. So I always run. But again, I do it on purpose because this is what I'm saying. It's like for me, it's easier to be able to go up a degree, and that's not a massive spike because that's quite normal. You can't tell me that in the ocean where these corals are and the tide goes out and the sun comes down and they slime up because they have to protect themselves, that they're not getting smashed by a load of heat and temperature. Of course they are. The light. Of course they are. And then take 8-10 years, hours later, the tide comes back in, the sun goes down, the moon comes out, and it's cooler, and they've got water around them. So how's that any different to what you're doing in your fish tank? It's not.
That must be a massive swing for those that are in the tidal areas.
Exactly. I'm not purposely trying to create a swing. All I'm saying is, I personally, and this is only my opinion, and here's whatever, I don't think it's a bad thing to have not swings, but I'd say that we use the word drifts in terms of parameters and including temperature and salinity. I don't think it's a bad issue. I think it makes your corals in your tank hardier in time, not overnight, but hardier.
It's another way of running a tank, though, isn't it? Because
just my opinion again.
Actually, trying to keep it bullet on 25 degrees or whatever, and that works for them. So it's a different way. It might not work if you had one.
No, I wouldn't dream of doing it. I'm not advocating it to somebody with an LPS or a mixed tank. I certainly would not dream of it. All I'm saying is, and I keep saying this week in, week out, I will make an effort to put this on the channel. There's a paper I read about. It was when I started on the live stream with you guys. If you remember, I was pushing it on the WhatsApp. It was all about temperature. It was scientists that spend their lives out there researching in the reefs around the planet, and they were literally saying that they couldn't understand why reefers are set on certain temperatures and salinities of water based on what they're keeping in their tank. What I'm trying to say is their findings was that you are more likely to have success with a certain species of coral and fish if you replicate its habitat.
Yeah, and 25 is, I think we said that.
And 25 degrees is not its habitat for the majority of SPS. But for LPS or for mixed reef, then it is. So all I'm saying is that, and global warming, and we've got issues in certain climates around the world because we've pushed the boundary too far, and we've gone too high, and acidity. But I don't think it's a bad thing. I really think that if you don't freak out about temperature as much as people do. I really don't think people should freak out as much as they do. I don't. And I think, again,
depends how you keep your tanks. If you're keeping it LPS, torches, scollies at 25, if you go up to 27, 28, 29, I think you might end up with a problem with that type of coral.
There you go. Evening, Rob.
But that's the purpose, though, isn't it? Spawning tank in at 28. And you've got specifically SPS at that kind of 27, 28. I probably wouldn't run torches, gonioporas, other stuff at a kind of 27, 28. It might work. Because it's not because you'd be chancing that. I wouldn't feel comfortable doing that. All I keep referring to is this paper that I read that was done by scientists it was in the late 80s, early 90s. So it's not recent. And things have changed, and global warming, and the pH of the oceans changed, and etc. Blah blah blah. But there is a lot of. It makes sense. What they're saying is that the majority of reefers are programmed from an LFS, keep your tank water at 25 to 26, because that is the range that the majority of species will survive in. My argument is not all species will thrive in that water. I read the.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't think Jay read it, because we wouldn't put a summary on it, but I did read some of it. It made perfect sense around the different locations and fish, and also with corals, about understanding. If you keep them from all around the world, then you're probably gonna have to keep an average, and you might have one that bows. Exactly. It can cope with the temperature to a certain degree, pardon the pun, and then it will just bow because it's surviving. It's a bit like what we said about bacteria, and when you're starting the tank. And actually keep your temperature high, keep your salinity low, and it's not surviving, it's multiplying. But if you keep the salinity high and the temperature low, then actually it's going to struggle and it will take longer. It's the same as that.
I also think you can test, and I don't mean like sort of experiment test, but you can push certain boundaries of parameters a little bit further. And this again, just my own personal experience. While ever your pH is elevated, because your pH being elevated, it just gives you more of a margin of error. You can make a few more mistakes and get away with it because your pH is elevated. If it was suppressed, then and you're going to play around with things, you're more likely to have an accident. And again, that's just from personal experience.
No, Tom, I think you should make a video, why I keep my temperature at 28 degrees or 27 and a half or something like that, because that will stand out, because either people don't keep those temperatures full stop, or they do and they don't talk about it, because that is quite.
Yeah, I'm not saying. Yeah, I'm not saying run out and turn. I'm not saying go and turn your temperature at all. All I'm saying is that you can't tell me that there aren't fluctuations in the ocean, and that's alkalinity, nutrients, temperature, salinity, light. Of course there is. So I get why people go, all you need is stable parameters. Stable parameters. I'm going to really throw a spanner in the works. I couldn't agree more opposite. I think you need a range. As long as it's not below a certain number and be high and higher than a certain number, you're good. Enjoy the hobby. Don't start searching for a number. But temperature can be one of those numbers. It can go up, and it can go up a little bit more than you might think, depending on the livestock that you're keeping, is all I'm saying.
But temperature doesn't usually spike really, really quickly. So I don't know, Jay, how quickly, it might have taken all day to get to that level. It's only if you do a water change and you totally mess up.
Yeah, exactly. Or if you and if you don't,
because look, that tank there, that'll take ages for that temperature to go up.
Yeah,
it'll take an eternity for that temperature to go down. If you wanted to get it to 25, you'd probably have to do a water change with really cool water for it to come down, because that was I noticed even on 450 litres, it took an ages when it was hot out. It had to take a number of days for that temperature to go from 25 to say 26 and a half. Whereas this one would go pretty quick. And the ones in the garage will go pretty quick. You're talking 170 litres and 270 litres.
Yeah. I can honestly say it's the one thing that I didn't purposely play around with, i.e. temperature. It just happened because of the lights, because of the pelmix. It was all built in. And I started to research, well, what actually is the damage of running a tank at a higher temperature than what most people would run at? And since I've run it at that, well, this tank's been running 10 months at 27.5 to 28 degrees. And you've just seen the corals. There's 70 odd frags in there from Signature and whoever else, and everybody donations. And they're growing, they're basing out. Polyp extension. So, yeah. It speaks for itself, is all I'm saying. I'm not being cocky. I'm just saying I think that people should relax a little bit more and just think about what happens in the real ocean, because that's what happens. It gets warmer, it gets colder, it gets saltier, it gets less salty. Just parameters change, and as long as they don't change, overnight as such from one extreme to the other, you're less likely to have an issue.
But I think it's those spikes is what we're seeing. And Jay, you probably know more about this than any of us. What's happened in Australia? And there was there was a northern part. Was there a 90% bleaching? And is that because of the temperature going up, or is it going up quickly? Because
it's the rate of change, isn't it? It's the rate of change, and then the absorption of CO2 into the water. So as the temperature gets higher, you get greater absorption of CO2, which then creates the acidification. And as Tom would say, affects your pH, and that's the big killer, to be fair.
And they can't cope with it, can they? Because there isn't that water change or anything that we're doing that's taking it the opposite way. So basically, they're absorbing it and then bailing, I suppose, aren't they?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. But yeah, it was.
If your tank's mature, and mine isn't 10 months in, I wouldn't class it as mature until, like we said earlier, probably 2-3 years sort of life time frame. But I think I agree with what Scott was saying, to be fair to Scott, months ago about the coralline algae. Since you've got the coralline algae and you're getting those signs of that bacteria and that bioload that, again, none of us unfortunately can see under a microscope, that's when you start to get, for me, you start to turn that curve and get that stability. And as soon as you start to turn that curve and you've got that stability, if you've got certain things like pH elevated, you can as daft it sounds, you can dial your tank in a little bit. You can play around with certain things, and your tank's gonna be more forgiving, is what I would say. If you make your mistakes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that happens, you say, when they're old, when it's older, and coals do adjust to their environment. And
Exactly.
there's a lot more videos actually seeing now about actually coals and fish adjusting to the environment, but you have to do it slowly. But the more hard to look after fish, about actually when you first get them, and then trying to create their environment with multiple feeds, and then you wean them off of that multiple feeds and get them onto other feeds, which then makes it easier to look after and less likely to die.
Yeah, I mean, the synergy for me with running higher temperature is obviously I have a lot of flow because the fish are obviously it's warmer, so they're breathing more. So I have to have a lot of flow to make sure I've got surface agitation. So, you know, the ORP levels are acceptable in the water, and I'm feeding them more because they're swimming more, because there's more flow. Because am I making any sense here? So I feed them more because they need the energy to keep swimming. So it's just a bit of a circle. It's just how it works.
Which, in case, quite often people then run their elements higher as well, because the energy, so pH is up, the elements are up, your lighting's up, your flow's up, and it, again,
high energy reef, a high energy reef as they call it. Yeah,
equilibrium, isn't it? You've got that. Whereas some of those were high and some of them are low, you might have problems because you haven't got that balance, have you? And
I just think this time of the year, people freak out with the tanks, like, oh my god, my tank's gone up a degree. Honestly, I don't think it's that much of an issue these days.
I often end up with the temperature going by 2 or 3 degrees up or down from the water change I've done, because I've messed up the heat of the water.
Yeah.
And that doesn't happen so much on a bigger tank, does it? It's more forgiving because you do a 10%. You put in, you know, and then when I'm doing my water change and I've got my 2 litre jug that I've been using,
look at that.
I don't have to heat the water, just throw it in, it comes in and out, water change in 10 seconds.
I really do wish.
20 minutes. So it's easy.
I've started doing that, 2 litres a day, and then a 10 litre change for all the crap.
I did 2 litres a day now, yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. Keeping a bit more balance as well.
So I'm doing 20 litres a week. And I'm doing a mix of 10 litres a day.
No. You're not having another poll.
I tell you what the poll should be. The poll should be, should we chuck Drippy out of the live stream?
Oh, go on then. I'll do that very quickly.
Do you know how to chuck him out though? If you don't know how to chuck him out, there's no point.
With the only
hang on.
Moderate.
Oh,
he doesn't need moderating. Leave him in. I got chucked out of the Sunday one, by the way.
Did you?
Yeah. Out of the, I don't really know. Out of Reef Talks live stream, got blocked.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I think
Tell more. I didn't know that.
I think it was a mistake.
Oh, really?
So I said something. I said a comment to Reef Talk or something. Oh no, he's getting some fish or something. He's got his new tank anti, which looks awesome, and he's getting fish. Yeah. And they had a head-to-head. Him and Ryan had a head-to-head, and Ryan always won, like picking the best fish. So I put in the chat, I was like, "Don't buy any fish, Alex. Just let Prestige Ryan pick all your fish, because obviously he's got a better tasting fish." And he was like, "Oh, shut up, you!" Kind of just joking. And then he's like, "Ban him from the stream," and I got banned. I was banned from the stream.
No, that is funny.
Yeah. I think I'm the only person.
Yes. Jippy's got 62% supporting vote at the minute to keep him in. 58, 62. Please vote. Johnny Boy, quick question. 5 minutes to go. Has anybody changed from Pro Reef to Tropic Marine Symbiotic?
No.
I did years ago. I can honestly say I didn't notice a massive difference, but the Symbiotic is meant to be the better one of the two, from what I remember reading about it. I can't remember what it was. A long time ago. Anyway, I'll show some of your comment.
There you go. So Drippy, it's a third says yes and 2/3 say no.
What have we got?
Yeah, that's the right decision. I know what we need to do. Last poll.
Right. So we'll keep him in then. Right, go on then. Go on. I'm ready.
I don't think we did poll for it, but Sunday morning live stream.
Was it on? Is it back on this week? Are we having a cup of tea in the morning on Sunday? Is it off this week? Or-
No, we are. I've somehow got to thanks friends. Oh dear.
Brilliant.
Well, the alarm's going off at 6 o'clock in the morning tomorrow. Honestly, just be wary, Rob. Just be wary, Rob. That Sunday morning I might be a little bit comatose, so you might have to bear with me. But I will try.
Don't feel the pressure. I was just asking that, so I don't feel the pressure, mate. If you need to have a little break after your pie, then that's fully.
Well, I think the question. Oh, I think the question would be: do people feel? Well, no, I'm not going to ask that question. We'll do it. We'll do it Sunday. We'll do it.
By the numbers, I thought the numbers were pretty good from what I've seen.
They were good. Yeah, we had 20 odd people, which was nice. So yeah, it was good. So we will do it on Sunday. I'll get up early in the morning. To be fair to Rob, he's already picked the subject. I can't remember his pronunciation of it, but it was good. I liked what he was saying. It was along the line. He's going to educate me in the comments if he's listening. What it calls it. It's basically we're going to talk about people's sort of the perceptions of getting in the hobby, thinking that it's going to be all sunshine and rainbows, and it's not, basically. So phrases like "I want a slice of the ocean in my house" and things like that. And when what you have in your tank is nothing like what it is in the ocean, it's not. It's just we think it is. So anyway.
That sounds good.
Tune in.
Yeah.
I'll be there.
Tune in.
Oh.
Sunday, 10 o'clock. Yes.
Fine,
I'll be doing the artwork and thumbnail tomorrow.
Nice.
Before I set my alarm, no, we're not. Go away. Right. Honestly,
that's a good word. Yeah.
That was the word. Thank you very much, Roberto. That was what I was trying to remember what it was called. So feel free to Google it because I haven't heard of it.
I will. I won't even remember the photo of it.
Human-induced impacts of things. So it's linked to climate change.
Oh.
There we go.
The Stafford arise.
Oh, mate.
Good job.
I know what that means. Yeah,
I'm having you as my Scrabble partner. Is that all right?
I'm a teacher, aren't I? I do a bit of geography. It's geography. It's a science work.
It does a bit of work.
It's environmental. It's science. Environmental science. Anyway, do some work despite what you say, tell me.
You're never at work. You're always texting.
What? Texting
you? Do you go to the? Answer this question before I forget. Have they still got that horrible toilet paper in schools like that you used to use for tracing paper?
Hey, nothing's
Have they really?
Yeah, it's still the same tracing paper. It's still the same bloody lumpy custard or whatever. Yeah, it's not, mate. Nothing's changed. Still.
Wow.
I'm good with that.
Because when we ran out of tracing paper in art, we used to go to the toilet and get the toilet roll and use it as tracing paper.
Well, yeah, there is still, there is still the softer stuff as well because you can get them, sweaty Bettys on the roof.
That's what the teachers have. Is the decent
the bog roll that's sweaty and you just go sticks to the roof.
Oh dear.
Tom definitely went to a school art. Of course he does.
Oh dear. Anyway, right. We're nearly there.
We're leaving it on that.
Fridays. We're leaving on that. Yeah. Well, thanks very so much.
I'd say something. Words of wisdom, Tom, please. Closing words.
Look at your corals, and if your corals are happy, you should be happy.
Yeah, chill for your temperature. Chill about your temperature.
That's it. And on that note,
very good.
Happy Friday. Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah,
thanks for the support.
Well done, Tom.
Apologies for Drippy's, offense. Anyway, yeah. I'm going to delete his number.
Send the like to the host. He's done a cracking job.
I'm deleting his number now out of my phone book. But no, thanks for joining us. Happy weekend, everybody. Stay salty. Hit the like button, and we will see you all next Friday. Thanks very much.
Have a good one.
Take care, guys.
Cheers. Thank you. Bye-bye.